Yeah, we've had it in a few studios now, 3, 4 maybe, and it's always sorted us out really. It's always done the job. I'd challenge any sort of engineer, audio production professional not to be completely amazed by how it sounds really and what it can do. We got the speakers in the best place we could, and then we started getting the Trinnov working. The first one we got it because we had a kind of problem room really, wasn't it? And it did a great job of giving us something that we could rely on. But it's really come into its own in a much better sounding room. The Trinnov's kind of done something completely different and amazing. You have your 2 speakers and you have your mono signal in the middle, kind of doing what mono signals do, floating around between the speakers, and then you switch the Trinnov on and it kind of compresses into a sort of, it's like looking at the edge of a piece of glass. You get this distinct mono signal, I guess because it's treating the early reflections in the room. It really does something quite special. And with the stereo signal, you then begin to see where everything is. It's quite a visual experience actually. You can move things around in the space much easier than if you don't have it. You hear where stuff is, do you know what I mean? So
we had a bit of an issue in this room because really the speakers aren't really big enough for the room.
Yeah,
are they?
Yeah.
Really, I mean they're okay. No, they're not. They're okay, but the Trinnov seemed to make them work better.
Yeah,
didn't it? It allowed them to actually get louder as well.
But going back further, we've worked in lots of studios over like the last 20 years where things like graphic EQs are used before the speakers. Cool. And all that sort of madness really, which I'm really against. I don't want anything other than copper between what I make and what I hear. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it sounds complicated as well, but I just switch on in the morning. I don't look at it. I don't go into it at all. I don't use any screen for it. It's just there now and it's invisible really to me. And you can get in a little deeper and tweak things if you want to, or you can just run it pretty straightforward.
Didn't you do that? Didn't you get quite deep in this?
Always, yeah.
You did. I remember you.
Yeah. I like to mess around, so that's a personal preference, I think. But it does a good job straight out of the box, doesn't it?
I reckon we set it up in it. You said it was set up in a day.
Yeah, less than
about 5 or 6 different. We tried in different because we were moving the speakers around.
Yeah.
So we tried lots of different things to get them. And then moving the, seeing what, and then before we settled on that, and then since then it hasn't been touched for 6 weeks.
No,
just
do
comes
another
on
scan.
In the morning. Don't even turn it on because it's on all the time. We just turn the mains on and it's on.
Yeah, it takes worrying about those things out of the equation, so you can just get on and do your job really. There's no worrying if your room is lying to you or your speakers to a degree, because you know that that's there and everything's presented in a linear fashion really, which is what you want. Makes it easy. There's no point spending any money on any studio equipment until it sounds good. So if you can easily spend, $2,000 on a compressor or more, and it's almost a waste of time if you can't hear properly what it's doing, I guess.
You can't trust it.
Yeah, well you can't trust what you hear.
The environment that it's in, then you're wasting your money. So really,
you have to start at the source. You get your room treated, you get nice speakers,
good
get a Trinnov,
all works like that. You can't really. I don't think you can really trick your way through. I mean, people do great bedroom mixes, but that's probably because their room sounds good.
Or they're used to it.
And they're very used to it. Yeah. They probably learn from mistakes, which you can do, I suppose. Rectifying things, but it's not very nice if you're listening. You're sitting in a room and it's.
It takes the guesswork out of it, doesn't it? If it's all laid out for you.
Great, and you're listening to music. Yeah. Well, it has to sound like that because that's what it's going to sound like outside, and you think, well, I can't get into it because it.
Well, we used the Trinnov on the last album for some of them in some rooms, whether they needed it or not really, just because it just adds that extra cherry. It makes things quicker, makes the decision process quicker. and it's one less thing to worry about, essentially. So you can concentrate on what's important.